The most important thing overall when it comes to leadership and leading people, leading a team, is clarity because it's the skill that helps you to cut through fog. When you are clear about what you want, what the goals are, what you're trying to achieve, it speeds up the process of being able to get to goals. It leads to trust amongst your team, which leads to autonomy and everyone doing their part. Clarity is the antidote to anxiety. When you can remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, it helps to calm your nerves and let you know that you're going in the right direction. It can be really easy to get lost in the details of every day. But when you can focus on these things on a weekly basis, it really lets you know that you're aligned and that you're doing the things you set out to do. And there's a sense of satisfaction in that as a business owner that is undeniable. Welcome to Dr. Gaynor Speaks. My name is Dr. Brianna Gaynor, and I am a licensed clinical psychologist in Alpharetta, Georgia. And the name of my business is Peace of Mind Psychological Services. I am also a transformational speaker. I am so passionate about the destigmatization of mental health, leadership, and all things wellness. Today, I want to talk to you about the one skill that will improve your leadership skills tenfold. So let's jump right into it. So it's not communication, it's not decisiveness, and it's definitely not multitasking. But in an age of infinite distractions and constant change, there is one underlying skill that separates mediocre leaders from legendary leaders. Um, so if you master this, you'll unlock better thinking, better decisions, and a team that trusts you completely. So let's break it down. In this video, you're going to learn a few things. So you're going to be able to cut through the noise. How do you utilize an information filter to focus on only what matters? And then a radical priority clarity. So your team knows exactly where to aim and exactly what they're doing. Along with that, master intentional ambiguity. So when to be vague versus when to be hyper specific. Communicate with unmistakable precision to eliminate rework, confusion, mistakes, and become a decision simplifier for your team. I'm also going to talk about a clarity ritual that you can use every week to help you stay aligned with all of these skills that we are about to talk about. So let's jump right into it. So, believe you me, I have been a business owner for 11 years, and I think that a lot of the skills that I've learned have absolutely been because of the mishaps. And so I'm so happy to share my experience with you. Um, the most important thing overall when it comes to leadership and leading people, leading a team, is clarity because it's the skill that helps you to cut through fog. When you are clear about what you want, what the goals are, what you're trying to achieve, it speeds up the process of being able to get to goals. It leads to trust amongst your team, which leads to autonomy and everyone doing their part, and also ultimately results. Clarity is the antidote to anxiety. When you can remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, it helps to calm your nerves and let you know that you're going in the right direction. It can be really easy to get lost in the details of every day. But when you can focus on these things on a weekly basis, it really lets you know that you're aligned and that you're doing the things you set out to do. And there's a sense of satisfaction in that as a business owner that is undeniable. And so, level one is inner clarity. Your team can't have clarity if you don't have clarity. It starts with you. So, one of the things that I think is important is to teach how to filter information to know and to be clear about what the goal is and what you're trying to do. So, there's a 3-question priority filter that I like to teach. So, there's 3 questions that are important for you to ask in utilizing or working through goals at the office in your business that will really help you get clear. The first question is, does this align with our top goal? Does it require my attention? And what will happen if I ignore it? Again, the 3-question filter. Does this align with our top goal? Does it require my attention? And what will happen if we ignore it? So I'm going to give you an example. Um, One of the things that I am wanting to get started at my office is a parent learning academy. And so one of the classes will be about um, getting more information and knowledge when it comes to school and accommodations children are afforded. We do a lot of psychological evaluations in my office. We diagnose things like ADHD, learning disabilities, depression, anxiety, and all of those diagnoses. There is the possibility to get accommodations in classroom based on how much it impacts you. Things like getting extra time, being able to take tests in a quiet area, being able to go to the counselor's office when you're overwhelmed. But what I find is a lot of parents don't really know about what their children can be afforded in school or also how to advocate for them. So, my idea with this class is how do I equip parents so that they understand the resources their child should get and know how to advocate for them? So they're aware they're not just going to a meeting and being told things, but they have the information to help them feel equipped to support their child. And so, if I think about whether or not that aligns with our top goal is to help our clients feel peace in every circumstance. Is this something that can help them feel peace? Absolutely. Because the more you know how to help your child, the more you have the resources, the more you know that there are supports to help the things they struggle with, the more peace you'll have, right? So absolutely aligns with our top goal. The next question is this something that requires my attention? Absolutely. Because to get any new program started, there's a lot of logistics that have to go on. We need to know where it's going to be, time, who's going to teach it, what's the curriculum, who are we marketing to? And then what will happen if I ignore it? Well, what would happen if I ignore it is it won't happen. This is not a program that we already have in rotation. And so to start something, I have to make sure that all these steps are in place. So that's the inner clarity piece. Level two is strategic clarity. So, how do I communicate a clear North Star in the immediate priorities? And what I would say is, what's the one thing for focus? So, if I go back to the example of the Learning Academy, we've identified the location, the time and place. We know what the class is going to be about. We know who's teaching it. The only thing missing is who's going to attend. And so the North Star, the one thing that is important strategically for us to be clear about is we need to get people in this class. We need the people who need this class to come. And so the goal is the one thing we need to start marketing to parents who can use the support to come in and to get the information. That's the strategy here. That's the one thing rule for focus so that we have the goal of what we're doing. This is the one thing I need my team to focus on because all the other logistics have been taken care of. And then level three is the communication clarity. So once I've identified whether or not this aligns with my goals with that 3-question priority filter, and then I'm strategic about what the North Star is and the one thing is, then I need to communicate this to my team. So it's really important that we are clear in communication because um, lack of clarity can lead to mistakes, confusion, and things not going well. So I'm going to communicate that we're doing this class. We need to market to parents. That is our goal. This is our date. That's what we need to do. Let's talk about what our marketing strategy is. That's the one thing. Once I say it to my team, I'm asking for them to repeat it back because I want to hear their understanding. A lot of times hearing is not the same as understanding. So it's really important that we have these instances where we allow the other person to speak back what they heard because we interpret things through our own filter. And sometimes you could interpret something in a way that I didn't intend it to be. And if this is very central to building our business, to building this part of the business that's going to help more clients, then it's really important that we're both clear and on the same page. The other thing, in addition to making sure you can repeat it back, so that oral communication is written communication. Not only will it be important for you to write it down, but I'll also send an email after with all the details to make sure we're on the same page. So there's written communication, there's oral communication. We had a conversation, so you were able to repeat back what you heard. And we're going to make sure that these multiple modes can help us be on the same track when it comes to what we're doing. What that also looks like is what are your next steps and what is your priority? It's important that we talk about the priority in terms of, okay, marketing, how we're going to do this. We're writing those steps down as well so that we can follow through. So another thing with communication in the specific example is let's create um, a schedule for who we're going to market to and how we're going to do that. Let's even create a script. Let's make it as simple as possible because we're starting this practice. Now, these can be the things we have in place that we can kind of roll out consistently as we're doing these classes more often. And then the next thing is decision clarity, because decisions likely will have to be made throughout. So maybe a decision in this aspect is kind of the why behind it. Why are we doing this? Why are we marketing? Because we're trying to build this part of our company. Why are we marketing to, or why are we marketing to parents in the office? Because they have expressed concern that this could be something that can be helpful for them. Well, maybe another aspect of that is this is technology age. So maybe social media would also be a great way to market. Maybe it would be a great way to market to people who often refer to us. So the decision in this case is really talking about why we're doing this and really focusing on that one focus of getting people in. And then what's our timeline? So because the timeline is time limited, maybe we have a month, we're going to focus on this one group, which will be people who already come to the office, people who have already expressed a desire to know more information, people who have already utilized our services and got the information they needed. We can continue that. And the why is so we can help our clients to find peace. We're starting with our clients so that we can start with them and grow from there. But really helping to come up with decisions that are quick and swift for your employees and for your team really also helps build trust. It helps build a sense of peace to know that these decisions can be made quickly and it can help the overall goal, that we're not going to linger and it impact our ability to be successful in what we're doing. And then the clarity ritual. So after we've talked about and been clear about our inner clarity with that 3 decision filter, and we've been strategic about what our North Star and priorities are, and we've talked about communication and being clear about that, and we've made any decisions that need to happen, it's important that we're utilizing these skills regularly. It's not just a one-time thing because this is going to come in place with a lot of different things. A lot of times, we can do things and not always know why we're doing them. We just get into habits. So really having a clarity ritual for 20 minutes on a weekly basis between you and your team to really talk about why we're doing the things that we do. What is our overall goal? How do we get there? Talking also about the pitfalls, things have gone well, that things haven't gone well. Help us to work as a team, make sure we're on the same page, and make sure we're all clear about where we're moving. It also helps everyone feel like a part of the team, that we're all working together, that it's not just you dictating what needs to be done, but we're open to everyone's input because everyone is equally important. Because the truth is, as you're being clear and you're being strategic and you're communicating, all these things are dependent on having a good team who can follow through with these things. And so let's include them as much as possible so we all know that we're a part and just as important. Because the truth is, I have some good ideas, but 2 brains, 3 brains, 10 brains are better than one. So you never know what you could be missing if you're not utilizing those ideas. Obviously, at the end of the day, you're going to be the decision maker, but utilizing your team, not just to do the things, but to kind of talk about what could work, especially when they're working with clients. So maybe I'm calling everyone, but an email would be better. Little steps, all still towards the same goal, can also be really helpful in making sure to streamline your product, streamline your process, and make it the best that it can be. All of these things work in conjunction. So I need to be clear about what I need to do in order to be strategic and talk about what the overall goal is and priorities to communicate it to our team. We need to be able to make decisions. All of these roll into each other. But it first starts with you and really focusing on what your overall goal is. Sometimes it can be daunting when you are a business owner, it's a lot. But I also think that this can bring a sense of peace, lowered anxiety, and a sense of usefulness and excitement that maybe you've lost out on when you're really looking at the things you're wanting to do and you're able to achieve. Sometimes we need to step back and look at these things simply for ourselves to see where we're tracking, what went well, what didn't, and making sure we're including our team. So, I am going to challenge you to utilize one of these things this week, whether it's going to be clarity, period. But first of all, your inner clarity to figure out what you need. Once you have that, I'll challenge you to utilize one of the others to be strategic, to communicate clarity, to have decision clarity. But all of these things will help you get to your goal quicker and help you build more trust with your team and really see what they can do by giving them the reins and giving them an inside look into your dreams, your goals, what you really set out to do, really letting them see the bigger picture of what we all get to be a part of. So I challenge you to pick one of these this week, and I hope that this has been helpful to help your leadership. Little tweaks to help you not only get to your goals, but also appreciate where you are. I am Dr. Brianna Gaynor. I, once again, am a clinical psychologist and I am a transformational speaker. I have also written my first book called Nina's Smile. It is a book about resilience for children and families alike. There is also a workbook in the back that really helps work through how to deal with struggles. So you can find it anywhere books are sold. And thank you for joining. Share this with anyone who you think could benefit, and we will see you next time. Bye.